everybody. I'm Victor Brooks, and welcome to the Victor Brooks Show Instagram Indie Fam series. It's Sunday, and every Sunday at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and sometimes, like today, we add a 3 p.m. show. All Eastern time here in the U.S. And we can't thank you enough for those who are able to join us live, but even for our larger audience that finds the previous episodes on our page here at the Victor Brooks Show Instagram page. Our larger audience, we thank you just as much as we thank those of you who are able to join us live. And, it feeds my soul to be able to present and to support any artist and their journey. Just to be able to spread that word of what this artist is doing, of the mission of this artist, of getting to know this artist, that we have the opportunity every time they take their time to come on. And I know because now we're up to over 1,800 indie family members who join us or who have joined us. It gives me that even more that positiveness to know that this is something that must be done, even if it's in our small way here. But who do we have so far? Young Titan 901. Thank you, Young Titan, for taking your time today. Our previous guest, Gail Donnelly. Thank you, Gail, for joining us and taking your time, and much respect for what you're doing, especially your new single. Ladies and gentlemen, follow the page of Gail Donnelly, one of the most incredible, real, individual, and unique artists that's giving the world what they need right now. And I have no doubt that the music and artistry of Gail Donnelly is here to stay. Please follow, please support. And our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, I've been waiting on this interview. I hate to say interview. Why am I saying that? This conversation today with Holly Gottlieb, who will be joining us in just a few minutes. Okay, I see the icon. Oh, you're welcome, Gil. Much love, much respect, girl. Holly, let me tell you something. As I always do, as many of you know, when I scroll through and something hits me, such as a song, or I'll scroll through and see an artist, a photographer, or a painting, or somebody cooking, or what have you, any expression of artistry, and then I have to scroll back because that's what it's about. It fed me. And I have no doubt that once you hear this conversation, those of you who are live, but then all of you who join us after the fact, I have no doubt that when you follow the page of Holly Gottlieb here on Instagram, you'll come to the same. The words that she posts of her songs. She's a poet. She's an artist personified, and then the singer, the music, the whole thing. Let's get into this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, and let's meet Holly Gottlieb, coming at us live from Los Angeles, California, my second home. And it's an honor. It's an honor. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Holly?
I'm good. I was freaking out because the audio was funny, but then as soon as it went live, we're good.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Hey, Patricia Bowden, our OG Indie Fam viewer that comes at us. He's here every week. And like I always tell any of our guests, Holly, if you see anyone that you want to shout, just go ahead and say hello.
All right,
say
that's good.
And we've just learned this past week the team that edits my Facebook Live show that we put the shows on YouTube has just given me the incredible news that we can now edit these Instagram and also put them on YouTube. So we're trying to do what we can to get this message of artistry out there, girl.
Yeah, the tech giants, they are fun to work with and they make it interesting, but yeah.
They make it interesting. You know what, Holly? I have so much respect for your artistry, and I'll tell you why. Number one is when I was scrolling through, as I mentioned when I was welcoming people, you have a naturalness to your artistry that seems to speak directly to what that listener needs to feel and hear, or if not needs to, ends up just enjoying that naturalness that you give. How would you describe your artistry, Holly? What is Holly's artistry?
Artistry in what sense? The music or the words
Your
or?
your overall. Let's. What fuels your music? What fuels what you want to say as an artist?
It's funny because I've been on this journey of when in the last couple of years people ask me what kind of music I make, I'd be like, I don't know, I'm a singer-songwriter.
Right.
And the word that I got to this week is actually, I'm a soul musician. Like that's what I do. And that's, you know, we haven't touched on this, but, you know, my journey of the last couple of years has really been connecting with spirit, with my soul. And, you know, in that process, it's a very, you know, you get into the depths and darkness of who we really are inside, and it's heart-wrenching. And you know, I make the music where that place comes from, what I'm really feeling, what my emotions are, what I actually want to say. And it's funny when the songs come, they just come, like the words come out within an hour, and it's like, oh, okay, there are some words.
Gotcha.
That's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So as a artistry, I guess soul, that's kind of my jam.
So artistry, that's it. And do you also, you're a guitarist as well?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah. And like we say in the old school, that's your axe. That's what you go to work with, you know. That's your guitar, your axe, you know. And I always say, people say, well, you know, you're a guitar player. And I'd say, nope. I play guitar to write a song, and then I give it to a real guitar player that can take it, you know, to where it needs to go. But in watching your videos, like you mentioned, there's not just natural as far as now that you mentioned you're journeying into the depths of your soulfulness, right? It's also, there was a little glitch there. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good. There was a glitch.
Okay. You also, I see you walking through nature itself. I see you walking through the ponds and the trees. Where does what feeds you about that? Why? It's because
3 years ago, here's kind of the context of this story, because I was thinking about it today. So I had a very classic upbringing, good school, wanted for nothing, got a good job, went to college, did the whole thing. Moved out here 6 years ago with my business partner at the time. We were working for a recruitment company in London, and opportunity to set up the US office over here came about. So I moved over here and did that whole, I played guitar at home, but I hadn't sung for anyone. I didn't play music for anyone. Long story short is 3 years ago, Tom was his name, he actually passed. He ended up taking his own life and walking into the ocean. And a lot of our conversations had been around that we knew there was something more in our soul. He wanted to act, he wanted to be, make an impact and things. And, that journey of the last 3 years has had a huge impact on my life. And, from this cookie cutter lifestyle of good job, good school, doing everything how you're supposed to be, doing life. That's my sister. Hi, Jess. The last 3 years has basically been saying no to all of it. And so that took me, middle of the pandemic in 2020, I gave up my great apartment in Venice. I sold all my possessions. I got on the road. I just didn't want to money is a huge factor in this. I don't want to be prescribing to that rat race lifestyle. Yeah, but so for about 18 months, I was on the road, pretty much. Same with 35 different friends, people I've met along the way, a lot in nature. But that's really where I found a lot of my own healing is in nature, is getting out of, I was in London and then LA, like getting out of the city, being in, watching the sunset without my phone, listening to the trees, listening to the birds. I think nature is the medicine for everything. So yeah, that's kind of why I shared a lot of music from that place.
Yes, I knew this was going to be a great conversation. I knew it because it's in your music. It's in the words that you post with your lyrics. You get to, I'll give you one here. And you also say that words are important. I've seen that on your site there as well. But check this out, y'all. And I want to know what bounced this one. Tell me of the mountains you climbed to get to me. Tell me of the dragons you laid at my feet. I'll tell you of the knowing that you were coming in, the seeds that I've been sowing for this world we're living in. I've been loving a man with no name, but I know he's heaven sent, no face that I can hold to, but so many came and went. That's out of sight. The last of these he held me with the strength I'm calling in, a breadcrumb trail of your love that I know is grounding him.
I've never had anyone read my words back to me. That's an interesting experience.
Hey, reading it is an interesting experience. Come on.
That's
When
fun.
did you know that poetry or words and lyrics, even labeling it, as you always say, well, not always, but that you posted that words are important. When did words start speaking to you to where you wanted to give it to somebody else?
You know what? I think so. I say I'm a musician, but what I'm really passionate about is the mind. You know,
Yeah.
In that time following Tom's death, I got to my own rock bottom in January 2020, and I was at a very similar place. And so, you know, my journey out of that point to where I am today, where I was about to swear. Can I swear on this? I'll be careful.
Yes, it's your time. Go ahead.
It happens. Shit happens, but I can navigate it with a different set of tools. That is the aspect that I'm passionate about. And I think, I look at the world outside and I think more people are suffering in their heads than ever before. We are going through a crisis as humanity.
That's right.
And not to say I have the answers, but I got myself out of I had from that high power in some way, and sharing that. So I see the music as really the platform to be able to talk about that. So the words came in. That's actually part of my process of how I've processed a lot of my stuff. Is every morning my practice is I meditate. I sit, even if it was just for 5 minutes, just sit and just quiet before I begin the day. But I journal. I write what's coming up, what's coming, how am I feeling about this thing, and that's actually something I've done for many years. But I found in the last couple of years it was super powerful because I never know how to express my feelings, and I think that I'm English and we are as repressed as hell when it comes emotionally. So that was where the words started to come, is really in my journaling practice every morning. It's oh, this is what I want to say. And then when I started writing music a couple of years ago, it was just, I don't know, it just what do I want to say here, and it just came. They just come through my pen, and there's the other thing that I do, and interject at any point. I always get very
No, please go right ahead.
Is that I think the whole world, I think every minute of the day I'm picking up information. So I hear it in the supermarket. I'll hear some dude say to the checkout lady a line, and I'll be like, oh, that's a line, and I'll write it down. I've got an email inbox of so many words, lyrics, things I read. I just pick it up from everywhere. And then when I'm feeling in that place of there's a song coming through, I look at my inbox and I pick out the stuff, and then that kind of shapes the anchor point for the rest of the words to drop in, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Wait a minute. I have to rewind this for a minute. You said when you started writing a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, this is what I did. This is my songbook that my two best friends, I actually put some green thinking because I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do today, but.
Yeah. But the fact that you just said a couple of years ago, that's out of sight, because you have a season thing that's going on that I believe, and this is not a fluff thing, this is real. I'm giving you what I'm feeling, that your artistry has a life to it, a life that's lived. Or maybe should we say that your artistry is about the life you're living? Which one do you think?
Oh, I'm going to write that one down.
Okay.
I'll listen back and write it down. I don't think it's about the life I lived. I think it is a part of it, but I feel like since I hit my rock bottom, and actually then really step into this magic, I feel like I'm living for the first time. I feel like, so I'm 32 now. I did I was in the corporate game for a few years.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
brilliant, but
That's all right. That's all right.
I had to experience what it was like to work 12 hours days, nose to the grindstone, being in a boiler room office type
Yeah,
thing of like,
yeah,
yeah, I had to
yeah,
experience that because how can
yeah.
else can I relate to people if I believe that everything that I've experienced and navigated is so I can relate to people. That's
There
what
you go.
I believe that we're all here for, at the end of the day, it's all about human connection to ourselves, to each other,
Mhm,
to this
mhm,
planet. Um,
mhm.
and I'm becoming aware. If you said what you just said to me a couple of years ago, like very nice complimentary words,
Okay.
a very English thing to do, be like, no, I'm not, and I'd shy away from it and be like, oh, this is.
Okay. All right. All right.
Whereas a practice that I'm learning, and every day is a lesson in understanding myself, really. Is learning how
Mhm.
to receive it because
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging that I did get to come to this planet and get to do some cool stuff and
There you
it's
go.
not easy and so I'm learning how to embrace it. So embracing the fact that yes, I'm a musician and I'm
That's right. That's
doing stuff.
right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you one of us. You one of us. And I would even I would put it on a thing because see, you hit a couple of other points there that Holly. I understand so much. I see. I'm an introvert at heart, but then I later found out that I'm an ambivert. And we
Ooh,
talked about this with another guest that we had earlier today that we just fell into it, that it's like ambivert is when you have a mixture of the introvert and extrovert, right? But for me, my extrovert can only be fed and can live if that introvert is fed. If I can get that my people meters like this after, and then I want to get my guitar and I want to, just hear and look at, but as long as that's being fed, then now my extrovert meter is up and we can do, the extrovert stuff. But when you mentioned that place that you went, which so many of us can identify with, I know I can. And I was going to take it to me, okay? My place was about 12 years. Didn't want to pick up a guitar. Didn't want to hear microphone. What? Sing? What? Why? Who? Yeah. No, I'm in this place. So at 57, I can look back, right? And remember those 12 years where my creativity, I thought, was gone. I didn't have it. So I thought. Didn't, and then even it was so dark, it was to a place where I didn't even want it. Like, for what? So little did I know, Holly. And when I have about 3 different words or lyric list of yours that I've written, but this one here, but there was a space in here, and I won't flip back to take your time, but it let me know she understands this. But it was before you and I talked, of course, about this now.
yeah.
But that for us as artists, and I'm going to talk to Indie Fam too, because some of you all have sent me the emails and we've gone back and forth with each other too, y'all, that as artists, it's a trip, man, because we can get so into that whole thing of feeling. We feel deep. We look deep. We love deep. We're happy deep, right? We go there as artists. But then sometimes we forget that artistic ember is going to burn forever. We may not see it. We may not feel it. We may not have that heat of artistry that we have felt all our lives, but it's there. And as our sister Holly just told us right now, hers is here and burning. It's burning. Do you feel that your artistry was always there, Holly? And you just didn't tap into it?
Yeah, so I didn't pick up my guitar for 10 years. But as a kid, I was, one of the things, I'm a very alone person. My journey is that I was a very solitary kid. I've been solo for the last 3 years, and got friends and stuff along the way. But as a kid, I didn't really have friends. And so my thing is I had Jimi Hendrix posters on my wall, the Eagles, and I learned to play guitar. And the first, solo I played was Led Zepp, Stairway. And, that's kind of, but then there was a period of, so I played guitar as a kid, I learned how to play, but it wasn't really until the last couple of years here that I picked up my guitar again. And I don't know, I don't know what point that's, well, actually I do know what point that switched. I started to play voice notes. Like I would play covers of other people's songs. Oh, this sounds good, I can sing it, and record it as a voice note. The situation with Tom is that I actually played him a cover of a song called, do you know Big Thief, the band?
No.
So they have an amazing song called, oh my God, Masterpiece.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And a couple of months before he died, he'd come over to mine and he was sat in the garden on the deck, and I was like, can I play you a song? So I played him this like acoustic song, you know, cover, and my voice is cracking. And when I finished, he's like, you have to do this, Holes. You have to do this. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. It's what I called him TV for short, Tumble.
Okay.
Anyway, so when he died, there was we decided to do a memorial in LA 3 months after that. And I knew that I had to sing that song. So there was a 3-month period between his death and the memorial. And that, knowing that I had to sing that song in public, I think saved my life, quite literally. Wow. It's like, this piece of music, like, that's what I got to do. That's what I'm here. I'm going to sing that song. And so I ended up singing this song to, there's like 100 people in a garden in Venice. And, you know, I'd never sung in public before. So I was like, oh, throat was
I got you.
But you know, I practiced that song every day for 3 months. So like, you know, it's muscle memory at that point. And I sang the song and it was super emotional and people were crying. And like, from that point I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Cool. Wow. So the idea of being a musician had never, that's what other people do. That's what other people got to do. I was just doing, you know, this thing over here. But the idea of actually being a musician is something that only clicked at that point. Yeah. And it wasn't until like 6 months after that I said, when people asked me what I did, I was like, I'm a musician.
There you go. There you go. Right.
That's
Holly, you're feeding us right now. Can we segue to feeding us something musical? Do you have something you could give us? I'd love to hear that tune.
Cool. Which one?
The one you just told us about?
Oh, that one. Ooh, I could do that one. I haven't played that, but we got that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, maybe if Hollywood mind, we could hit this one, and then we've got to hear an original, if you won't mind, sometime during this episode as well.
Oh, do you want me to do the original first? Actually, I could.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Up to you.
I could do Masterpiece. I just forgot the chords. Let me see if I can remember the chords to it. I actually got my electric, so I'm going to swing my mic over.
Right on. Right on.
And see if the sound's good.
Okay.
Okay, so the context, I will sing the cover of this song.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this, and there's another. Yeah, so this one is the lyrics. So Tom walked into the ocean. He walked into the tide and he drowned. And when I saw him before, he was really suffering, and we were speaking about, you know, he wanted to get free. So then the lyrics to this song then became very relevant. I haven't sung this in a while. God, I'm a bit nervous now.
Thank you so much for sharing this.
My pleasure. If I mess up on the chords, then. Years, days, makes no difference to me, babe. You look exactly the same to me. Ain't no time. You cross your legs inside the diner, raising your teeth to your lips, the steam. And you saw a masterpiece, and he looks a lot like you. Wrapping your left arm round your right, ready to walk you through the night. You whisper to a restless ear, can you get me out of here? This place smells like piss and beer. You were asking me how to set you free. I only know the recipe to Rome. And you saw the masterpiece, and he looks a lot like you. Crossing your left arm round your right, ready to walk you through the night. Oh, stars filling up my throat. You gave them to me when I was born, and now they're coming out. Laying there in the hospital bed, your eyes are narrow blue and red. You took a drop of breath and said to me, I saw the masterpiece, and he looks a lot like me. Wrapping my left arm round your right, ready to walk you through the night. Oh, friends, oh mothers, daughters and brothers, there's only so much letting go you can ask someone to do. So I'll keep you by my side, I won't give you to the tide, I'll even walk with you in my stride TV, 'cause I saw the masterpiece, and he looks a lot like you, wrapping your left arm around my right, ready to walk you through the night.
Fantastic. Fantastic, girl. Mm.
That was a fun one.
This is what you do. This is it. This is what you do. That was incredible.
Well, what blew my mind is that the lyric, did you hear that one at the end?
Which one? The description of, say it again?
So I'll keep you by my side,
Yes.
I won't give you to the tide.
The tide, right.
Like, I sang that song 2 months to him. Like, that's how he died. He drowned in the ocean. And like, they're just, yeah. That's when it started opening up my world of like, oh, I think there might be something bigger going on here, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Much respect to the legacy of TV.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, TV. Huh?
He's having fun up there.
Oh yeah, and he's proud of you, just like we are.
Oh,
and the indie fam and positivity posse. Hey y'all, let me tell you something here for a minute. You know, as I always say, y'all, I get these when something, goes deep with me. And this conversation, I don't know, but I knew that this was a conversation that we all needed, and I want to keep reminding each and every one of the artists first that are listening, that are watching, keep sending your emails, keep sending that support for other artists. Keep giving that support to the people who feed your soul, the artists, your brothers and sisters in artistry that feed you as well, because it's no doubt you're feeding somebody. Hey, if they feed you, follow them. Download that music. If they're playing at a coffee shop, go get a double shot of espresso and sit there and listen. If they're playing at a local club, buy the 2-drink minimum and go support the music, because why? Number one, this is who we are. This is what we do. We have our ups, we have our downs, but this type of a format, and I'm not the only one. This is just in my way that I'd like to bring it out. And you know me, collectively in our way, Indie fam, that we can support each other in the support of hopefully the world. And Holly, you touched us, girl. And you are continuing to touch us. And I want to know this, in your journey as an independent artist, sometimes I get emails from people or conversations with other independent artists, and me being the 80% of my whole career has been independent artistry. And what is it that you're learning about that phrase, independent artist?
I'm learning. That's interesting. So I've had this. Oh wait, I've got a fun story which I think could be quite relevant to this.
You do what you do. This is your time. This is it.
All right, cool. So so I did my whole road tripping. You know, I was on the road. I had like a tent and everything in my car, and I just had my guitar, and just like that's how I was writing. I had this big.
Okay.
That's just how I did it. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was at this point in Joshua Tree in 2020. And at this point, like a month before, I just started calling myself a musician. I was like, I'm going to do this. And I walked away from my job, and my dad thought I was crazy. And still does. Hi, if he's there. And yeah, so I was in Joshua Tree, and I was like pulled up at a campsite there, and it was full. And there were a couple of girls camped there. And I was like, is it okay if I share your campsite spot with you? Yeah, sure. We've got, oh, you're a musician? We've actually got two musician friends arriving tomorrow. You can jam. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. Had a night to myself, did the thing. The next day, these two dudes rock up, and there was an invitation to like sit around the campfire and, you know, jam. And on the way, as I grabbed my guitar, one of the girls says, "Oh, this guy's pretty well known." I was like, "Don't tell me, because I don't want to know." And thank God there was no music. There was music. There was music. There was no internet connection, so I couldn't look this guy. There's like 5 of us sat around a circle. These 2 guys. I can't remember the other name of that one. Sorry, hi, if you ever see this. There's another guy called Austin, and like I play some music on my, you know, acoustic guitar. Yeah. You got to come to my studio back in LA. And I'm like, huh, what? This is cool.
Right.
We jam, we exchange numbers, that whole thing. And when I leave the campsite, I look up who this dude is, Austin Brown. I don't know if you know him.
Okay, yeah.
I look, he's Michael Jackson's nephew.
Right.
Like this is coming from someone who has never. It's LA, so I'd never interacted with like the whole vibe thing before. Yeah. And like I was like, oh my God, I just met him randomly at the campsite. He's now a really good friend, and you know when I decided to, but like for someone like never met, like
you girl. I got you. Yeah.
Like these suddenly these worlds are colliding. But anyway, this is the cool story. So I spent it's all cool. I love talking. It's like I spent 18 months or so like singing outside, like with the trees, with that whole experience. Like, so Austin, I recorded 2 records with at his studio. So that was the beginning of this year, and like for me, it was such a milestone of like I want to get something on Spotify, because I put stuff on Instagram, and lots of people were like, how can we listen to it on Spotify? For me, it was a big milestone, and I spent money on recording a couple of songs with Austin. And what that whole process taught me, so grateful for it. And I've actually got those 2 links on my in the link in my bio is my Spotify stuff. That whole process of like, that's not how I want to make music, is how you can, well, as I'm sure you do or not, is making each track perfect, and then having the vocals and the guitar, then the drum, which is to a beat, and like all the music that I made, I didn't know any of I didn't know what the chords were, let alone the tempo. And so I was very grateful about that experience of like, cool, I know how you can record, and I know that I want to record live / play for people.
Okay.
And so a couple of months ago, I ended up meeting my guitarist. Similarly to your story at the beginning, I could play guitar. I don't consider
gotcha.
Make sounds. I've been waiting for my like guitarist to come in. He came in and make cool stuff together. But what I guess the whole journey taught me around recording and making music is it's about the feeling. Like
Yeah.
it's for myself at the end of the day. It's like I go into a state where it feels so good for me. And I think the music industry, as we know, is very complicated. And I learned the other day that, you know, certain recording artists pay other musicians to keep their music suppressed, which is distortion.
I got you. Yeah.
You know? So the idea of like my soul expression being
There you go.
suppressed, like
That's right.
when we're connected, the music comes from our soul. So the fact that that can have a price tag.
Yes.
I'm seeing the corruption of, you know, when you start commercializing, yes, we need to support ourselves. Money is obviously, you know, makes the world go round. But when we start commercializing something which is our soul, like it's a complicated, sticky situation.
Come on, girl. Come on.
So how to do that in a way which is, you know, I'm not relying on music for my income. I want to keep it pure. If I make money out of it, cool. But like, I'm hustling to get a job and do the other stuff and, you know, support it in whatever way I can. So that I don't need to, I don't know, make decisions which aren't aligned for me.
Right on, girl. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. How do you put a price tag on an expression of the soul? I love that angle.
You can't.
You can't. You can't. Which is unfortunately has been done to, I'm going to say, to artists for so long, you know, that the idea of independent artistry is just that, being able to have the freedom to express your soulfulness the way you want to express it, to give it how you want to give it. I know the soul, to me, being a dinosaur, this social media thing was good. It's good and terrible in so many ways. It can be a very negative tool, but I believe that, like with just what we're doing right now, that for artists, it could be a positive tool if we support each other. If there's a coming together of artists around the world. Like I said, it blows my mind when we've only been doing this like maybe 3-4 months at tops, and now it's over 1,800 artists that are considering themselves, and we consider and think that are in Indie Fam, where there have been collaborations from Japan to an artist in Michigan and here, and it's a support system that I believe is the only way that the independent artist and artists themselves can make this statement to the world. I truly believe that.
When's your birthday?
May 14th, Taurus.
May 14th, cool. Yeah, have you got any Aquarius in your chart? That's what I want to know. Because that's everything they talk about. Do you know about the Aquarian age?
Teach us, give it to us.
Okay, so people have been talking about the Aquarian age for thousands of years. And what we're moving out of is, what we've just moved out of is the age of Pisces. Each age is 2,000 years long. The age of, and the reason why with Jesus we had the fish symbology, it was around, that's when we entered this age of Pisces, was around 2,000 years ago.
Gotcha.
We've just entered the age of Aquarius. So what that's all about is how, it's basically power to the people. All of our systems that have been in place for thousands of years have all been power in the hands of the few. The rest of us crushed basically by that power and control. And what's happening right now is like, or every system, everything that we know is coming back into the hands of the people. Our self-knowledge, how we connect with people. You know, and I see the music industry. I don't necessarily call it an industry anymore, because I believe that music is here. I believe that music and sound is the healing of the future. I believe it's medicine.
Yes.
So, and how we connect with each other. It's, you know, I've got my own relationship with the internet, and, you know, putting stuff on Instagram, you're like, you got to watch yourself to not need the validation of the numbers or whatever. At the end of the day, like, I know that none of it means that does the numbers on the screen, whoever's watching it, that's irrelevant. If all that needs to happen is just this conversation between us, and actually it's for no one else, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Or maybe there's just one message for one person in there, and being okay with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we're really changing the way that we interact with each other. And I'm a big believer, and I'm calling the business around the mind that what I'm doing called the whole collective, because it is about people. Yeah, we all have the most incredible gifts within us, which I believe most of us aren't tapped into, not just in music, but in any, whatever we're here. And, you know, learning how to tap into that and then share it with each other, and it's powerful. Like, power is really moving into hands, the power of the people. That's where we're moving. So that's kind of, so it's funny hearing you talk about that in this context, because that's a perfect example of, you know, not in a competition sense, but when you have like independent artists like start creating their own economy, able to support each other, you've got this whole circular economy outside of the need for the labels and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, there's some cool stuff happening that I'm like witnessing in that sense. And, you know, even the fact that you reached out to me in this context, that was a really cool experience to be on there, to be seen even, you know.
Gotcha. Right on. And for me as well, Holly, we're connected. We are connected. And I love the connection. Yeah, I love the connection. I love and respect where you're coming from. I love and respect where you're coming from artistically. And I love and respect where you're coming from individualistically. You are you. And that's what it's about, you know? So, I mean, it's like, and I know I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but I know that sometimes too, and artists, I'm going to put it on blast again, y'all. It's competitiveness has its good and its bad, just like social media has its good and its bad. But please, well, let me ask my guest first. What is your advice, and where do you take it when it comes to the artistic comparisons as an independent artist in everyone's journey? Some people say I'm not good enough. Some people say, oh, they have more numbers than I could ever have now that it's down to numbers and followers or whatever. That's equating to your artisticness and your artistic journey, that comparativeness as an artist.
I mean, I think that's the life lesson I'm learning, is that everything, with relationships, with, you know, with music, with validation, getting that from anything outside of you. I have to be so whole and complete with everything that I do. Every music I write has to be for me. Every minute of the day, like, and I think that's our whole society is, you know, that's how we're trained, is to, you know, want comparison, want to judge ourselves against others. But, you know, if I look about where I was 3 years ago to today, knowing that it's an endless journey, I'm just doing me and having enough belief in myself that actually there is a space for us all at the table, and we all have something so unique to share. And the way that we might approach something is exactly how we're supposed to be approaching it. So that's kind of, that's it. We're aligning to our soul, and our soul is here to shine. And so the more that we bring our attention back to ourselves, it automatically happens. So like, I see you doing your thing, because that's the journey of soul. And now we're able to see each other there's a space at the table for everyone.
That's right. There's a space at the table for everyone. That's right. That's right. That's why we like coming here to this Indie Fan Buffet every Sunday that we can, and sit down together and eat together, learn together. I always say, I was told that growing up in Memphis, old school blues cat always said, it's not better than, it's different than, youngin'. Because I went through my thing of, oh man, they're better than me. I was not even out of high school yet, you know. He said, it's not better than, it's different than. You have a different. It's not that they're better. You just got to develop your thing. It's not better than, it's different than. And I look back on a comment, so many comments have come up with that topic there. But listen, thank you for your time. And please, anything that you're doing, we want to support it. We want to post it. We want to share it. We want to let people know what Holly Gottlieb is doing. All right?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is great. I feel like it's not going to be the last time I talk to you, but yeah, it's good to talk.
No, exactly. Where do we follow? Where can we download? Please let us know.
Instagram for now, and then Spotify I've got a link on that, in that Spotify. So at Holly Gottlieb is my Instagram, and then I'm putting music under Hole, HOL. But the link for that is in my Instagram bio.
All right.
And
All right.
I've got a band, putting a band together. We're about to be recording some stuff, so you'll hear about it.
Really? Out of sight. Okay. And see, you're in my second home. I'm bi-coastal, so LA and back here east in North Carolina. So
Cool.
love to see you live too, my friend. Reach out anytime and please keep us posted, okay? Have a good one. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's not better than, it's different than. Hey, artists, keep on doing you. You have something to say. You have something that can only be said in the way you can say it. We need that. We need the positiveness of whatever it is, even in situations like our guest Holly gave us today, in those dark moments, in those moments that all of us deal with. Hey, artistically, your soul has something that it can say that either identifies with that moment for someone else or is a hook to bring them back on up to where they need to be. And only you and how you say it could be that way to bring them back. Can you dig it? Especially for yourselves and especially for what you want for your life, for your essence, for your artistry, for your soul. Share it with us. Give it to us. Paint those pictures. Develop that brand new recipe for culinary artists. Develop that next stand-up that we need to laugh and hear another approach about, right? Give us your artistry. Give us who you are. And keep on keeping on, y'all. And next Sunday, every Sunday that we're here at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock p.m., Eastern time here in the U.S. Come on and get some of that positivity on you. Take a bath in it, take a shower in it, scuba dive in it, skinny dip in it if you want to, but just jump in that pool of positivity. And when you come out, sprinkle it on as many people as you can, because that's what it's all about. And we'll see you next time right here on the Victor Brooks Show Instagram Indie Fam series right here on Instagram. Much love. Share it, y'all. And we'll see you next time. Peace.